Hello, everyone. Today's devotion comes from the Voice of the Martyrs again. This one is called Extreme Readiness, and it takes place in China with Pastor Li and Dexian. The verse that they have for this one today is from 1 Peter 4:12. Dear friends, do not be surprised at the painful trial you are suffering, as though something strange were happening to you. Which is a verse that means a lot to me personally, especially because I do have a lot of things in my background that, weren't all that pleasant. I have a lot of things that are pleasant too, so I try and focus on the positives, but there's always those little bits of suffering that we all get throughout our lives, and those trials, they shape us, and we have to use them for God, and that's what I'm learning to do, is to use these trials for God. So one way to do that is through exactly what they're saying today, extreme readiness. Just as Pastor Li Dexian began his sermon, the doors of the house church burst open. Armed officers of Chinese Public Security Bureau poured into the room, threatening everyone present and grabbing Li to arrest him. Now this is something that we in Canada and in the US, we're starting to see a little bit more persecution of the church here, but we're lucky enough that we don't see these kind of things happening, and we don't have Christians being tortured in Canada and in the US. And so, it's something that, we're very fortunate and very lucky, and we just need to be thankful to God that we don't have to experience these kinds of things. Wait, please allow me to grab my bag. As always, the pastor's tone with the officers was polite yet firm. The officers were surprised at the request. What's in there? They demanded, grabbing the black zippered bag Li held and ripping it open. The bag contained a blanket and a spare change of clothes. Li told them, because he had been expecting to be arrested that day. Pastor Li had been arrested many times. Twice, police had beaten him to the point that he vomited blood, and one time Li's face was beaten with his own Bible. Li was warned that police were watching the village where he held his Tuesday meetings. He knew if he showed up to preach, he would be imprisoned. Today, Chinese citizens can be sent to labor camps for up to 3 years without a formal trial. Now, right now in China, it isn't just Christians being targeted there. There's Muslims, and we see the Uyghur group all being put into concentration camps there. So it's still going on. It's been going on in China and in communist countries for decades and centuries, that there's been persecution in these countries. And again, we just have to be thankful that we aren't there, and we need to be praying for these countries where they are seeing all of this. The risks were great, but Li's bag was packed. More than having a bag packed, though, he had his mind and his heart prepared. He was willing to pay any cost to preach the gospel. He was convinced God would care for him, even in prison. Readiness is a sign of commitment. Commitment that is unprepared to sacrifice is merely compromise in disguise. For example, consider the marriage commitment. It costs one's selfishness and deals a heavy blow to one's sense of independence. However, the result is a stronger marriage. Relationships that are not ready to sacrifice for the sake of commitment do not last, which is something, again, we see a lot these days. Just divorce all over the place, even in the Christian community. And I come from a divorced parents background, and I was kind of fortunate in the way that my dad was and is an awesome father, and took really, really good care of us. And we have to be very, very thankful for the positives in life and not focus on negatives. And with marriage, that's so true. And commitment, we need to make that commitment. And even when things get tough in a marriage, which, there's going to be times when things are tough, you need to stick by one another and support each other and be there for each other. Compromise takes a steady toll and weakens our desire and ability to be committed. In the same way, the believer's commitment to Christ must exact a price in order to maintain its value. We must prepare for the test of our commitment by daily affirming that Christianity is worth it. It's worth spending our time in daily prayer. It's worth gathering for worship at church. It's worth enduring hardship and trial, abuse, and even arrest for the privilege of maintaining our commitment without compromise. So I love the comparison of Christianity and marriage, because really, when we become a Christian, it's like a marriage to God. We are supposed to be committed and devoted to God and to maintaining our relationship with Him. And part of that relationship building is, of course, prayer and reading His Word, and just that communion with God, feeling like we are one. He gives us the Holy Spirit that comes and uplifts us and helps us to get through these things. And He does talk to us. If you're quiet and you give Him time, He will speak to you in many different ways, whether it's through His Word or voice, or there's just so many different ways that He can speak to us. And a lot of people see Him in dreams, and there's just everybody's got a different way that God speaks to them. It won't be the same for everybody. But thank you for listening, everybody. I hope that this devotion has helped your day, and that you will definitely, if you're not committed to Christ, I urge you to commit to Christ and to pray that prayer. Speak to a pastor or a Christian friend, someone who can walk you through a relationship with God. If you need to message me, my email is in the comment sections below in the discussion. So just feel free to email me, ask me questions. If you want to help coming to the Lord, just feel free to send that email. I will respond. Thank you, everybody. Feel free to share. Thanks. Bye.